Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and yesterday I was sitting in my easy chair, my recliner, and I thought, I've never seen anybody follow their dog chasing a ball or something with ActiveTrack. So I very quickly gathered everything together and headed outside to the yard out there and took my drone off, and my big old dog, her name is Ruthie, and she's about 13, 14 years old. I'm not sure she can hear very well because I called her and she didn't come. But she was over there where I flew the drone, and then she started heading back over towards the animal corral. And so I kept trying to find her. It's like she was playing try to catch me. And finally, there she is, smelling around at all the... well, we won't mention that. But anyway, so I got her in. I got her focused in and everything, and forgot to tap the ActiveTrack icon. So I got a really good. I could have done a really good job of following her around the yard with the drone, except that I had it on Spotlight. Well, Spotlight doesn't follow anything that goes anywhere beyond the Spotlight. So I thought, okay, what an idiot, because sometimes I make some awful stupid mistakes. So anyway, I'm getting it all set up to go again, and I'm petting her and telling her, you're a good dog, don't go anywhere, stick around, stay, all that stuff. And all of a sudden, the screen goes black. Now, I didn't know that the recorder was still going and that the drone could actually, the camera was working. And so I thought something was wrong that, as you can see, I'm trying everything. Was it the gimbal or what's wrong? Because I had no idea, except the screen went black. So I landed, and I had been running the screen recorder and my voice recorder. And so I turned those off because, it does, the sunlight does heat up the monitor, the TripleTech tablet. So I thought, well, maybe it was overheating because it felt warm. And so then I take off again. And by the way, I got to mention that in the last video when I was telling the story of the flood and Noah's Ark, I quit, and I thought I was finished, and I had forgotten some very important things. So I'll throw them in on this video while I'm trying to get my drone to work. So it's still working here just fine. And the dog had gone over behind this black car, and so I'm where I'm running the drone, and I'm using the drone to find the dog. But the dog's not there, and you'll see on the bottom of the screen, I even walk over to see to see if she's there or not, and she's not. So anyway, one of the things I forgot to mention was, and I mentioned it earlier, the reason that the animals could just freely go into the ark is because they weren't afraid of man. And after Noah got out on dry land after the flood, God told him that. Now I'm walking across the lot. Anyway, God told him that from then on, animals would have a fear of man, animals and fowls of the air and fish of the sea, and so that's why they wouldn't have been able to come into the ark. So anyway, that's the way things are now. Another thing that I intended to mention was the rainbow. Everybody knows what the rainbow is. Excuse me, and. But the Bible says that God put the bow in the clouds. When we look at a rainbow, we're seeing the rain. You got to have direct sunlight shining from behind you, and then you'll see the rain, the refraction of light in the rain, and that's what makes the rainbow that we see. But one day I was out flying my plane, and I got above the clouds, and I looked down at my shadow, and there was literally a rainbow around my shadow in the cloud, which when God looks down on the earth and he sees the cloud, That's what the Bible says. When he sees a cloud, it remembers his covenant to never flood the earth again. And so, but he sees the bow in the cloud. By the way, the screen just went black again. I'm trying to tap on it to get it to work again. So now I'm looking at a blank screen. And but anyway, so when he looks down, he sees when there's a cloud and he looks down, he sees a bow in the cloud. It's not a rainbow that we see from water, which is nice. I'm glad I'm tapping the screen and trying to figure out why my screen goes black. So now I'm pretty flustered, and so what I'm going to do here pretty soon is I'm turning off my tablet and gonna start it up again and do a reboot. So anyway, that's what the bow in the clouds. That's what God sees. And another thing that I didn't mention was, if you know anything about meteorology, you know that it snows up in the mountains, and then the sunlight doesn't melt snow. Just for your information, warm air is what melts snow. And so up in the mountains where the temperature is lower because it's a higher altitude, the snow falls, the sun shines on it, and it does melt, but it melts very slowly. And so then we have rivers that come down. We have drinking water and water for other uses. And there now it's working again. I got my picture back. And so we have water that runs down the rivers, goes into the ocean. When it gets to the ocean, it starts evaporating into the air, and then the ocean breezes blow the air over the land. And as the air comes over the land and rises to go up the mountains, then it cools, and the water. I'm going to try active track again. Anyway, so the air goes up in altitude over the mountains. It cools. All the liquid, the water condenses on particles of dust and so forth in the air, believe it or not. Very small particles, by the way. But so then it drops either in the form of rain in the lower parts of the mountain, but also into snow. So that's where we get that perfect cycle of we always have drinking water, and I think my dog's chasing a lizard or something. And that dog, the black dog, is a really sweet dog. It was a wild dog, and somebody caught it and trained it, and my son picked it up. His name is the dog's name is Gunner. So anyway, that's the cycle that God created. In order to get the clouds, he had to, when the earth was covered with water, he had to wrinkle up the crust to make those to make those mountains at the altitude they are. And that's why when you look at the geologic faces of the mountains, you can tell that they were once laying flat. So anyway, those are some things that I forgot to mention in my story of I'm calling my dog and she's after something that's in that wood pile. Anyway, those are some things that I forgot to mention in my last video in the story of the flood and Noah's Ark. Actually, it wasn't Noah's Ark, it was God's Ark. God told him to build it. Maybe Noah was out of a job at the time, didn't have anything to do. I don't know. Nobody really knows. But anyway, okay, now I've got the dog in active track. But again, my screen recorder's not running, so I can't show it to you. And I was frustrated, so I forgot to press the active track button. And so, although I've got the dog inside the little green square, when the dog turns around and comes this direction, I'm going to lose her again. So here she comes, and the gimbal is following her, and that's where I lost contact because the drone wasn't about to move. So we'll try that again some other time. But anyway, so that was an idea that I came up with, which didn't work. So now after all that, I thought, well, I'm just going to go fly my drone. And so, and there were some eagles up in that tree the other day. I thought, well, we'll go fly the drone. And so I got about this far, and the screen went black again. So then I just landed. When I landed, as I was flying back, the screen indicated that the that the controller was charging the tablet. There's my problem. The battery in the tablet was dead. Well, I want to thank you for watching my videos. I got another one coming up soon. God bless.